This is a draw plate. This allows you to take a piece of wire and take it from a large gauge, which is kind of reverse, but a 1 gauge, all the way to a 20 gauge wire. Really small. This one has 3 different shapes you can go from. You can go square, half round, or round. And on the back, it has, that's where you'll put the wire through, and it has a bigger opening, and it'll stick through just enough on the front to then pull it out with some pliers. So when you use the draw plate, you'll have to take it, figure out which one you want, which size, and you'll put it in this clamp, and you will clamp it in nice and tight. For this wire is actually a 12 gauge, and so we want to make it smaller, so we're going to go from a 12 gauge to a 13, 14, 15, however long we want it. To prepare your metal for the draw plate, you need to make just one end a little smaller so that it fits through the hole in the draw plate. So to do that, you'll take a steel plate, and you'll take your steel plate and you'll take a hammer, and all you're going to be doing is you're going to just lightly, you'll be hitting the hammer, or hitting that this edge until it gets smaller and smaller so it fits through the draw plate. Now if you see, it's a little bit smaller and rounder. It doesn't matter about this edge, we're just worried about this whole thing. We want the whole thing to go smaller, and so we're sacrificing this smaller edge. And now we'll take it through the draw plate. So after I hit it, I now want to check to see what hole I want to try and pull it through. Now this seems to pull through really easily. So I'm going to go to the next one. This is 11, and it barely pulls through. And that's all you're going to want to, you know that it can, you're going to try and pull it through 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some wax, and I'm going to wax the metal just so it's a little easier. Make sure the square side is correct so it pulls through square. And then I'll take my pliers and I will clamp on to this, and then I will pull through. And you've got to, I use both hands, and I'm just going to pull, I set my feet, and I just pull through. And that didn't work because I didn't have the clamp tight enough. Okay, it pulls through. Now, I'm going to try and see if it'll fit through the 12, and it doesn't. So if it doesn't fit through the next one, you'll go and you'll now hit it again with the steel plate on the steel plate and make that smaller, and you'll just keep pulling and pulling and pulling through. So now as you can see, it's a lot thinner. Now it went through 12 easily, and 13 and 14. So if I want to make it even smaller and smaller, I'll just keep pounding, going from pounding to draw plate. Every once in a while, probably every other draw, every other hole, you'll want to anneal this metal so that it doesn't get work hardened and splinter and become fragile and brittle. But that is how to use the draw plate and to draw out metal to smaller gauges.